Imagine losing the right to make your own choices. Imagine if a poor decision called your competence into question. If your civil rights were held to a different standard than those around you. And imagine not having a way out. This is the story of how Jamie Beck stood up for her rights in Indiana. Jamie works a full-time job and lives on her own. She also has an intellectual and developmental disability. For the last 8 years, after losing the last of her family, she's been living under the restrictions of court-appointed guardianship. But she's working to change that.
That shows I got everything down on this floor, besides the side area, yes. Yep. Yes, let them know I'm finished. Like, used to we had to text somebody, let them know where I'm heading out or going to and from. And I had let them know what time I have to be back and stuff. But now I don't have to text nobody. They show 2 different buses, but one that coming right now is in 2 minutes. It's right here. Yeah, I got a camera crew. Yeah. Life is full of adventures. It's a journey. Like they say, it's a journey through who knows what. Enjoy the present moment. Don't think about what happened in the past and you'll be stuck in it forever. You gotta move yourself out and don't afraid to try something new. Guardianship is not always the answer.
Guardianship is utilized when the court determines an individual is incapacitated and unable to make decisions. A legal guardian is appointed by the court to make those decisions for them.
Decision-making rights are a civil right, and it's an important civil right. Being a citizen in the United States means that you get to make your own decisions and your own choices with the support you want. We're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of years of one legal tool being used to support people with decision-making, and that being guardianship. And what we have to recognize about guardianship is that it's a very heavy, heavy tool.
When Dan became my legal guardian, there was no other option.
In 2011, I became Jamie's legal guardian because of the death of her stepfather, and it was an unfortunate situation. We got a phone call from some of the neighbors saying that they saw Jamie Beck walking the streets around her house, and they had seen in the newspaper that day that her father had passed away. He had gone in the hospital 3 or 4 days before that. He had stage 4 cancer. And Jamie just stayed at home. I met Jamie that night. She was just heartbroken. You know, 5 years before that, she lost her mom to stage 4 breast cancer. And Jamie had actually lost her real dad when she was very, very young, under the age of 2. And you know, this was pretty traumatic. I talked to Jamie about what guardianship was, and again, no question, it was a shock to her. I said, Judge, we really need to put her into a nursing home tonight. We have nowhere else to take her. And that night, he literally came to the hospital. He drafted the order. You know, we didn't have an alternative.
At age 20, Jamie found herself the youngest resident of a senior nursing facility. She lived there for over a year, while her Medicaid waiver was delayed in the review process. But she always made the most of her situation. From the nursing home, she moved into supported living, and with Dan's help, started vocational training. She volunteered for Special Olympics, where people noticed her exceptional technology skills. Jamie put together a resume and eventually found several part-time community jobs. She continued vocational training, this time at the hospital that would eventually offer her a full-time job, giving her the freedom to move into her own apartment in 2017. Although living independently, she remains under guardianship.
Yeah, I guess recently got this bad boy. I bought the whole thing I needed. This, the table for it. I got a mount for my headset, keyboard, whatever I needed to put on.
So all the accessories?
Yes.
Yeah.
I bought everything.
Guardianship significantly restricts the rights of individuals to make their own decisions. A full guardian has the legal right to make decisions on behalf of the individual, including where to live, medical decisions, and financial decisions. The legal system is difficult to navigate, and most people faced with guardianship discover there are few less restrictive alternatives available.
All the things I went through, losing my stepdad, getting thrown in a nursing home. Then I got stuck, and then took me about a year to get out, losing my Medicaid, losing my Social Security, everything, even my old house.
Some states are working to empower those under or considering guardianship by offering less restrictive alternatives. Indiana is one of those states. Jamie is the first test case in a pilot program which could allow her to terminate her guardianship in favor of supported decision-making.
A person who wants to use supported decision-making chooses people in their life that will help support them in the choices that they make.
People are supported to make their own decisions with the help that they need and want. So they get to choose their own supporters to be able to help them understand the choices that they face and be able to communicate their decisions to others. So it's an alternative guardianship traditionally.
Excuse me, please. Thank you. Morning. Morning. The court will call for review hearing the case of In re the guardianship of Jamie Beck. Cause number 89DO2-1805GU000044.
Jamie has been living without a guardian since the start of the pilot program. Today, the judge will decide whether to fully terminate her guardianship, which would secure her decision-making rights and make her the first person in the state of Indiana to replace a legal guardian with a supported decision-making team.
How long have you known Jamie?
I've known Jamie for about 9 years.
And you were previously served as her guardian, is that correct?
I did.
And when her guardianship was terminated this past June, you were on board with that as well?
I was.
This is an important day for Jamie, and one she's been working toward for the last year. But that's not all she's been doing. Jamie has been on a mission to introduce the supported decision-making concept to others.
I think Jamie's a really incredible person in that she is a tremendous self-advocate. She's not afraid to challenge authority. She's not afraid to speak up for herself. It's confidence in her story, confidence in her ability to tell her story. And I think she has really grown as an advocate.
I'm doing some speaking for supported decision making, and being the first person that I am, I'm enjoying to speak and getting out the word out and letting them know there is options. So I'm basically the living proof it is possible. Like in The Lion King, Simba was born to be a king. He was excited and he realized how much responsibility it was going to be. And then he realized he had to take his place in the circle of life, whether he had a choice or not. You got this. You got the skills to stand up. You told us once before, sometimes you gotta stand up in front of the bully and confront them right then and there, because they would keep on pushing you down and bullying and being mean to you if you don't stand up. There is a time you have to choose to stand up.
Jamie does, in fact, stand up. While working her way through the pilot program, she advocates for decision-making rights, traveling and speaking across the country. She's giving a voice to self-advocates, taking an important seat at the table with policymakers in discussions of upcoming legislation.
You're a pioneer. Set the bar. You're a trailblazer.
Yep, got that right.
But before that,
You solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you. Be seated, please.
Since your guardianship was terminated, how have things been going for you?
Doing pretty good. I figured out how it worked around the monthly bus system and how I get to and from work.
What about your paycheck? How do you handle your paycheck when it comes in?
Well, what I do is a direct deposit to the bank. And I get so much, on my card every month, so I can go out and go shopping, get things for the house, and also pay the bills.
At this time, I have no other questions.
Thank you, Jamie. Wonderful.
So, Judge, we would like to request that the court terminate its limited jurisdiction, so Jamie's guardianship will be completely terminated without further oversight unless the court feels that additional supervision is needed.
Absolutely not. Jamie, you've done wonderful. People are talking about you all over, Jamie. It's great, and we are so proud of you.
Jamie's hard work is coming to fruition, and a supported decision-making bill has made it to the governor's desk in her home state of Indiana. Her advocacy has been instrumental in educating legislators about supported decision-making, and people have noticed. With dozens of speaking engagements now under her belt, Jamie hardly seems fazed by the spotlight.
Jamie, we wouldn't be here without you. Would you like to share a few thoughts?
We all play a role in the circle of life. And this is part of the stepping stones for me to help somebody else out, big or small.
Thank you, Jamie, for helping us get here. It's been a long journey.
Decision-making rights is the cutting civil rights issue for people with disabilities, particularly people with developmental disabilities and older adults. I think we're finally at a place where we're beginning to recognize the fundamental rights associated with decision-making and having the right to make your own choices with the support that you need and want.
Give them an option. There is choices they can make. That's how I see it. I tried everything in my power I could.
Just to watch her, it's just been an amazing ride. And I know we have spoken to state organizations, some national organizations. I've always said that Jamie changed my life and how I dealt with people with disabilities. All the things that we've done, and it was just amazing. And the people that came up to her who said, I want to be able to do this, and how can you help me? I've had families say to me, I don't want to let my kid go, or I'm fearful. And I've said to them, look at Jamie's journey, talk to Jamie. There are hundreds of Jamies in this state. Is supported decision-making for everyone? No, it is not. But it is for a lot of folks.
Bad decisions are part of the normal human existence. That's how many of us learn and experience life. There's a philosophy called dignity of risk, where everyone has the opportunity to make poor choices and learn from those mistakes. And people with disabilities are no exception.
Yep. You gotta learn to deal with what you have and use what choices and what things you got. One thing is believing in oneself. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh! If you don't believe in yourself or in the game, it ain't gonna happen. You gotta see it as adventure. Worrying about bad things gonna happen, say no. You get grabbed like by a bull and go. Fly.